What I can do in this life? I can box. I'm just undisputed. Sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I like it.
The greatest boxer in the world.
So sometimes people will be like, oh, they're just playing around. We're like, well, watch the fight.
First of all, congratulations on your return after surgery. How are you feeling physically and emotionally?
Thank you. I missed training so much. I'm feeling much more better than I felt myself month before, 2 months before. And this training camp made me more confident about my health. I feel good. I can work 10 rounds and be okay.
What does this comeback mean to you personally?
What does it mean? It's just part of my journey. Sometimes you have health problems, sometimes you have another problems, you have to deal with it and then come back again. It just, I'm trying to treat it as my routine.
Where are we right now and why do you choose this location for your training camp?
We're in Kyrgyzstan on the mountain, close to the lake. It calls Isikul. Why we choose it? Because every year we're choosing some place where we can go on 1,500 and more above the sea level. And when you are training in such places, you are gaining your endurance. It helps a lot. And in Kyrgyzstan, we are trying to come once a year minimum. I like this place. I like that the weather is good here compared to some mountains with a lot of snow. And also air is very clean here. There is not too much cars.
Еще на камеру сейчас искупался, вообще бы было бы шикарно, парни. Мухаммад, а? Давай, погнали на пир.
Ага, давай.
Нормально, там вид красивый.
My brother, you left me.
Давай, братиш, мы тебя будем
No problem. Easy, easy. Lakpa.
Легко, легко.
Liko. Liko. Muha. Muha.
Вылазь, Мухаммад, мне жалко. Красавчик. Слушай, ты так искупался, такое ощущение, что даже вода как будто теплая. Другой раз как. Ты на звезд такую не похож.
Я? Не, ты снять шапку тогда.
Не обязательно. Надо пробежать.
This is the start.
You too.
This is the start. Time. Now I fly. Woo-hoo, 6.
Готовимся! Приготовились! Время, поехали! Назад, один вверх!
You seem to keep a sense of humor even during intense training camps. Why is that important?
It's very important. I love jokes. I love my team because each person in our team has a good sense of humor. Different, but we like it, you know. Because when you are working hard, it's really tiring. You could be a little bit crazy, you know.
Okay. Oh, 3 minutes. Ding ding. Ding ding. It's okay.
We see it's your usual routine, yeah, to change your t-shirts.
Yeah, it's normal routine. Everybody's changing t-shirts.
How
T-shirts usually 3 or 4.
in one training session?
Yeah.
And what can you tell about your sparring partner, about Ruslan?
About Ruslan. Ruslan, he's a very talented guy. Not boxer talented. He's just very talented.
The pride of Kyrgyzstan, Dmitry Bivol, is back in his home country as he gets ready to fight Germany's Eifert on May 30th in Russia. On paper, this is an easy fight for Bivol, who has taken on the toughest opponents in the ring. He's a boxer who's gained a reputation for systematically bringing his opponents down in the ring. Bivol, however, is taking absolutely zero chances because Eifert isn't his primary target.
Boom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Yeah, baby. Yo. To the front. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The 35-year-old Bivol has been out of action since February 2025 when he won a majority decision over Artur Beterbiev in their rematch in Riyadh. A third fight between the two was tentatively expected for later in the year but did not materialize. Neither has fought in the year plus since that second bout between them. Bivol was also expected to defend his WBC light heavyweight belt against David Benavidez. Unfortunately, Bivol decided to vacate his belt rather than fight the Mexican monster. David Benavidez was disappointed and expressed his frustration in a social media post after the news broke out. Bivol has been out of action not because he's afraid of the smoke with the Mexican monster, but because he suffered from a major injury during his rematch with Artur Beterbiev. Bivol underwent successful back surgery in August 2025 to repair a herniated disc, a long-term injury that had worsened over time. The procedure, which took place in St. Petersburg, Russia, required a 6 to 8 week recovery period, forcing him to miss the remainder of 2025 with plans to return to the ring in early 2026. Bivol will now defend his WBA and IBF belts against Eifert, who is the IBF mandatory challenger and was ordered finally for a fight with Bivol last summer. Eifert won an IBF eliminator way back in March 2023, so 3 full years ago, beating a faded Jean Pascal quite clearly on the road in Quebec. As for why the WBO light heavyweight belt won't be on the line in this fight, major news just came in regarding that belt being on the line in the upcoming title defense against Eifert. Ring Magazine reported that the belt won't feature in the contest due to the ongoing conflict with Ukraine, per a letter from WWBO President Gustavo Olivieri obtained by the Ring Mike Coppinger. The WBO won't strip Bivol though. The WBA and IBF titles will be on the line along with the Ring Championship at 175 pounds.
The exercise where I'm doing my abs and the tailor is hitting me, it's more like all of this stuff, it's more like a little bit for fun. And at the same time, I did around 20, maybe 25 like reps.
Your trainer looks like he's enjoying.
Yeah, he was enjoying, of course. And another one with burn machine, it's more for your arm, for this stuff. And he was hitting also my body for me to not lose it, to be in shape when I'm doing this exercise. With the kettlebell, yeah, this is for, of course, we're imitating punches. And the most important, you should do it faster to not move kettlebell. If you do it slower, the kettlebell will move. And you need to do it faster, and we did it 30 seconds. Spider-Man, yeah, it's more core core stuff, and we just tried it once. We didn't do it before, to be honest.
This one looks like you're catching flies, or?
Catching, catching big flights. Yeah, we called it ovet in Russia, but yeah, it's like a flight. I had a run this time. I remember it was between my fights. I was just having a run, and then I saw the place where I can do shadow boxing, and I just wanted to catch some flies.
So you come up with these, or does your trainer come up with these workouts?
Most of it, of course, it's Taylor creating, but sometimes he's creating during the session because he could see that I'm doing something and I'm not doing it right how he wants, and he's editing something. When I was doing like stuff with the board machine, he saw that my body is weak, but I was doing it with only arms, and he wanted to add something for my body, and he just started beating me to squeeze my ab.
So you're feeling the effects. You're feeling when you go into fighting, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Bivol has been keeping himself busy in the gym, doing some light training as he lets his shoulders heal. In an interview with Ring Magazine a few months back, Bivol shared his disappointment about losing his belts. He talked about his surgery and arch-rival David Benavidez's recent performances against Anthony Yarde and the upcoming fight with Zurdo Ramirez at cruiserweight. Bivol has his own hopes of moving up, but he did surprise everyone by talking about his potential future fights.
It was a bit of a frustrating year for yourself. Obviously, you won all your belts back, but then you picked up an injury and you're back in the ring. But how much are you itching now to get back into the ring and start showing the world again what you can do?
You know, it's almost 6 months after the surgery, and I was training the last 2-3 months, building my core, and now I'm feeling better, and I hope I could come back to the ring maybe on May. It will be great, yeah.
It was reported, obviously, the IBF put your mandatory forward, Michael Eifert. Is that who we are most likely going to see you fight in May?
Yeah, probably this is one of the fights which we could make on May, yeah.
I want to ask your opinion then. Obviously, David Benavidez is now WBC champion. Just what have you made of his performances this year? Obviously, he beat David Morrell, and then he had the destructive win over Anthony Yarde at the end of the year.
About who?
David Benavidez.
He did well last year, of course, and yeah, he has another good fight against Ramirez, and yeah, he's doing well.
The final one, obviously 2026. Obviously, you said you're coming back in May. Would you like to be undisputed once again by the end of the year?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, this is one of the options. Also, there is Benavidez, there is Bitter Beef still, and also I'm open for cruiserweight. Why not? Yeah, I would like to get a chance to fight for another belt also in another.
Bivol has plenty of options at his disposal. A trilogy fight with Artur Beterbiev could be a massive fight, but everyone is looking at a potential fight with the Mexican monster. David has been getting increasingly frustrated with Bivol not showing more enthusiasm to fight the best fighters in the division despite being champion. In an interview with Ring Magazine, the Mexican monster expressed frustration regarding the Bivol fight. He corrected the narrative that he is avoiding the fight, stating that he actively tried to secure a bout with Bivol for his most recent appearance, but Bivol didn't want to take it. Benavidez emphasized his desire for the biggest opportunities and claimed that world-class opponents are the ones preventing these significant matchups from happening, not him.
Confident going up to cruiserweight and facing Zurdo Ramirez?
Confident with him too. You know, I used to work with him a lot, and I'm confident with, you know, I know exactly what I did with him, and but you know, I'm not going to take it easy. I'm not going to overlook him. He's a great fighter. He's a great champion, but I want to achieve greatness, and the only way I do that is pushing myself to the limit.
Why do you prefer that fight over like a Bivol then?
There's no, you guys, I'm going to correct you guys where you guys keep saying that I don't get these fights, I don't get that fight. I don't get none of these fights because these guys don't want to fight me. If I would have had those fights available, I would have took that fight. The fight with Bivol, I was trying to fight Bivol for this fight. He didn't want to take the fight. I was, you know what I mean, with all these guys. That's why, like, I don't like people disrespecting me, saying that, oh, I'm talking all this shit, but I'm not taking the fights with these guys. These guys
wasn't disrespecting.
No. It's I'm talking about other people. You know what I mean? Stuff that I see on the internet. These people, they don't want to take the fight with me. If they wanted to take the fight with me, that's the fight would have been having. You know what I mean? So, I'm taking every big opportunity I could take. You know what I mean? it's been evident that I've been wanting to get the biggest fights and they haven't been happening. Not on my end, on the other end of the other fighters. So whatever a big opportunity I see that we can make, we're gonna make that happen.
Benavidez obviously moved up to cruiserweight to fight Zurdo Ramirez, even conquering the division by knocking out Zurdo. He didn't waste time calling out Bivol in the post-fight press conference. He expressed his readiness to fight anyone, regardless of weight class. While acknowledging that fighters might be afraid of fighting him post the beating he gave Zurdo, he showed respect to Bivol and hoped that the current champion would accept his challenge to fight.
Do you think that the way that you beat Zurdo tonight will make Dmitry Bivol reluctant to fight you?
I mean, to be honest with you, I can't answer that question. I don't know what these people are thinking. If they're real champions like how they say they are, you know, they're going to take this. They're definitely going to have no problem taking this fight. I'm not trying to say any, be disrespectful to Dmitry Bivol. I don't think he's going to get scared away. You know, he's a great champion. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is boxing. You know, that's why we're here. We're here to give the best of ourselves. And, you know, I'm doubted all the time. Everybody always doubts me. But every time I get in this ring and I show myself what type of fighter I am, you know what I mean? It speaks a lot of volume about me and my character. But I'm ready to fight whoever. I'm ready. I think you guys know that 100% already. You know, wherever it is, it's 200, 175, wherever. I mean, I'm just here to test myself at the end of the day and test my.
In an interview with Ariel Helwani after the fight, David Benavidez once again took a swipe at Bivol for avoiding him. He called the fight with Michael Eifert a tune-up and mocked Bivol for being scared. However, he once again hoped that Bivol wouldn't be like the other fighters and avoid him. Nevertheless, he ended his call out by stating that Bivol can't avoid him and will have to fight him eventually.
So you were rolling at light heavyweight. Ultimately, why did you make the move to move up now?
Just because I was first in line to fight Dmitry Bivol for all the undisputed titles. Unfortunately, that didn't happen for some reason. I think Bivol was hurt. You know, he's barely about to have his comeback fight, I think 2 weeks after my fight. So for me, man, I think I've been trying to show that I've been wanting to make the biggest fights happen. You know, I made some big fights happen. Some other big fights haven't happened, not because of me, but because of other people. And I said, instead of just taking a regular, you know, title defense at light heavyweight, let me challenge myself and let me go up and contend for 2 titles. And that's how we landed with this fight with Zurdo Ramirez.
That's the thing I think many fans love and respect about you, is that you continue to chase those fights, those big-time fights, those big-time tests, and sometimes they don't materialize. Obviously, we've talked a million times about the Canelo fight, and it felt like the next one was the Bivol fight, and now here he is fighting 2 weeks after your fight, and it kind of leaves a bit of a sour taste in the mouth, because it's like, hey, the schedule's aligned here. Why didn't that happen? And so in your opinion, what's the real reason why that fight isn't happening in May?
Well, because Bivol, you know, all my respects to him, and I don't want to make him seem like he's scared or nothing, but he knows what it is when it comes to David Benavidez. You know, he's seen me up close and personal, and I've seen him up close and personal as well. He's a great fighter. You know, we have some great sparring sessions, but he knows I'm not coming to play. He knows that when David Benavidez steps in that ring, all those belts are leaving with David Benavidez. So I think he knew the danger and the severity of this fight, so I feel like that's why he took a tune-up fight first. And, you know, I mean, I respect Dmitry Bivol. He's a great fighter, you know, but he's definitely going to have to come.
David Benavidez further explained his plan moving forward. He expressed his intention of clearing out the division by fighting the 2 greats who have been terrifying the division. The Mexican Monster is also enthusiastic about fighting Artur Beterbiev and sending him into retirement.
Yes. Yeah. My plan is, like I said, my plan wasn't just to abandon the light heavyweight division. My plan was come up, grab 2 titles, come back down, and make this fight with me and Bivol even bigger. That's exactly what I want to do. You know, that my dream is to become a unified champion. So I'm already there. You know, my foot is already there, basically at the finish line. So it's smart for me to come back down and, you know, obviously a lot of people are worried about the weight, this and that, but like I tell everybody, don't worry about that. Let me worry about that. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm just trying to give you guys the best fights possible, the best fights out there. And then after that fight, when I capture the titles, I'm going and I'm fighting Beterbiev. So I'm just trying to give the biggest and best fights happen to the fans. And, you know, I mean, for me and my legacy, this is really what I feel like I have to do. Nobody tells me I have to come back down. Nobody else tells me I have to go fight Sugar Ramirez. Nobody tells me I have to fight Benavidez. But I want to do it for myself because I know the fans of boxing deserve it.
Golly, that's the one, by the way. That's the one that, like, I feel it in my bones. You versus Beterbiev. That's the one that I feel like would be the car crash, and it would be so much fun to watch. Of those, like, those three guys, right? Zurdo right now, Bivol, Beterbiev. Which is the one that gets you the most excited? The idea of fighting that guy.
To be honest with you, the one that gets me the most excited is probably Beterbiev because, you know, it's just two monsters coming at a collision course. And that's what people want to see at the end of the day. You know, I feel like I have a lot of respect for all those men, but, you know, Beterbiev has been the boogeyman for a long, long, long time. So for me being the monster, I got to go in there and take the boogeyman out.
With the talk of the town being about a potential fight between Bivol and Benavidez, it looks like that fight could be in jeopardy even before negotiations begin. Ring Magazine recently reported that the WBO interim light heavyweight champion Callum Smith is next in line to face Dmitry Bivol if he beats Michael Eifert at the end of the month. Frank Smith, however, revealed that negotiations with David Benavidez have already begun and the two could be fighting next. As we mentioned earlier, Bivol has plenty of options, but the clash with David Benavidez seems to be the most logical step moving forward.
So just on the undercard, Frank, there was an upset victory for Zach Chelli against David Morrell Jr. and obviously David was due to face Callum before Callum had to pull out for injury. Where does that leave at now? Where does it leave Callum?
I think they'll order the WBO fight after Bivol's next fight. I think they'll order the WBO fight between Callum Smith and Dmitry Bivol. So let's wait and see.
Fight which you'd rather make internally, obviously Bivol being a matchroom fighter.
Yeah, but obviously we're also looking at the Benavidez fight as a possible fight for Dmitry. You know, that's interesting. So let's see. We've got to make the right calls for each of the fighters we represent.
I just have to ask about, I did see David say after the fight that he recently had with Zurdo Ramirez that he's had some small talks around the Bivol fight. What can you tell me?
Yeah, there's been small talks with Louis de Cubas. Let's see if we can make it happen. Dimitri's got he's had a long time out of the ring. He's got his comeback fight, well, I think 14 months out of the ring. He's had something like that, 15 months. And then
The coming weeks will be crucial for Bivol. We'd love to hear from you. Do you think he'll chase the smoke and fight David Benavidez, or will he choose the easy way out? Let me know in the comments. That's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.